at Burger Fling strive to be the wokiest woke company that ever woke in the West. Our pandering to millennials knows no bounds. From Satisfries and black cheese to promising free food for women who get knocked up by soccer players, we bend over every which way but backwards to lure those knobheads in. And in 2019, this is the year that we are shifting into hyperdrive. As if offering vegan burgers weren't enough, we had to pound the crap out of that long debunked dead horse known as the pink tax. Our Chick Fries ad pretended to offer the same food in a pink box at twice the price because, you know, that's exactly how it works with razors. What better way to propagate propaganda than through a fast food restaurant ad? Last month, we celebrated the launch of our series of unhappy meals. Who wants to get a burger and fries and feel good about themselves? Muck, no one! We are so woke that we do not comprehend the idea that you are supposed to buy a meal to make yourself feel better. No. Here at Burger Fling, we offer a set of 5 perfectly normal emotions so that you can feel more suicidal, snarky, shitty, spastic, or just plain meh. Have it your way or the highway, and screw anyone who gets in the way of your moody ass. Just last week, we used our Twitter account to engage in guerrilla politics by reminding everyone our milkless milkshakes make excellent projectiles. If you can't shoot, firebomb, or in the UK, spoon, your opponent, publicly humiliate them with hilariously violent antics. Make sure you're in front of the cameras or it doesn't count. Psst. Hey, UK, we recommend our sulfuric smoothie flavor, or in a pinch, the Chicago-style bleach vanilla bomb. Yummy! Today we offered our most woke-a-doodle wokiest wonky woke yet! We're going to pay off your student loans. Listen up, millennials. All you have to do is download our app, enter all of your personal information, including the amount you owe and your checking account number, drop some coins for some of our yummy mystery meatless burgers, and then sit back and wait. We are going to randomly give away as much as $500. Sure, it's not enough to buy a single textbook, and it won't help a single student make even a single payment on their loans, but we are single-handedly making the rounds of every news outlet. And isn't that what being woke is all about?
Today on Craft Time, CCW's own field reporter Aaliyah will show you how to personalize your wardrobe.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah, and I'm a puppy. Today on Craft Time, I'll show you something really special. Oh, look, a stick!
Allie, is chewing that stick your craft?
Oh, yeah. No. Mom has been staying up late watching a show called Laverne and Shirley, and I think the way Laverne sews a giant fancy L on all her clothes is really neat. So I've been doing that for all my clothes now. My favorite color is red, so I got Sadie some puppy safety scissors, and she's been cutting out big red letters so that I can sew them on all of my clothes.
Allie, you're a puppy. You don't have any clothes.
I know, but Mom has a lot, so I've been working all day sewing giant red A's for Aaliyah on all of her tops so she'll always remember me wherever she goes.
Oh, no. You didn't.
I didn't what? Oh, look, a bug!
I'd better check in with
Damn!
Welcome to Counterculture Wise, a Stormcap production. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts, our guests, and the dog, and do not necessarily reflect the views of any of our platforms, our advertisers, or any other dog.
As you listen today, please remember, we are so much more than a podcast. All of our stories we discuss are linked in our show notes on counterculturewise.com. Visit there for commentary, guest photos and links, animations, and fun merchandise.
If you have a story idea or would like to be a guest on our show, contact us via our website. You can also follow us on Twitter, Gab, Instagram, Facebook, and all over social media, where we'll post memes, cat pics, and commentary that gets us booted off on a regular basis.
If you're listening live, be sure to join our chat on Spreaker. If you're listening dead, please stop voting Democrat, but enjoy the show anyway. And a fine howdy doody to you all today on this fine, not exactly Sunday here at Counterculture Wise Radio. We are actually on vacation in far off Houston. Ooh, could it be any more
like
exotic
far out
than that?
Houston, man.
Yeah, well, we're visiting my sister from out of town, and we are recording some, if not all, of our show ahead of time. But that doesn't mean we can't have a lot of fun. Today is Wednesday, and we have lots to talk about. But before I get started, let me introduce my co-host, my husband, my best friend, and my sweet babu, Mr. James Monis.
Hi, everybody. She didn't announce herself, so I'm going to do it for her.
Okay, you do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, my best friend, my wife, entrepreneur, comedian, actress, writer, all-around good kid, my beautiful bride, and my sweet Babette, Ms. Melanie Hope.
It's a Babette thing. I'll take it. Babette! Oh, Lordy. Well, I mentioned that today is Wednesday so that folks will know that we, like many throughout the world, have just received the news that the great Tina Turner is no longer with us. And
She's in a better place now.
She had a good run. My God, that woman looked amazing to her last day. In her 80s, she has been ill, or had been ill for quite a while, and the world says goodbye to an icon, a pillar of music. And I know Jim's been doing a lot of reading, so I'll let him share some more. But I can say that Miss Tina got a lot of respect in my household growing up with a strong maternal unit who was a gifted musician, both a singer and a guitar player. And we loved Tina in our home. They did many songs from Ike and Tina, and then later Tina's solo career. And she will be greatly, greatly missed.
Indeed. She was 83 years old. Had been having, as you said, some health problems leading up to her passing.
It was cancer, like not pancreatic, but in that neighborhood.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard that. She was born on November 26, 1939, under the name Anna Mae Bullock.
Now, I did not know that.
She grew up in Nutbush, Tennessee, which she later memorialized in one of her early hits with Ike, Nutbush City Limits. Her family was farmers, and she started off after high school, began working as a nurse's aide, and wanting to be that as a career. Thank God she didn't. She would go to nightclubs in St. Louis, where she first saw Ike Turner perform, and they fell in love. And she, he was. I mean, I'm gonna give Ike Turner his due in this much. He was an extremely gifted guitarist, an amazing band leader and arranger, but nobody's gonna remember that. And there's a reason, and it's a good reason. Anyway, they actually handed her the microphone she was out in the audience and she started singing, and Ike invited her up on stage.
It was just happenstance like that.
Yeah, it was just happenstance
Amazing.
like that. So, they recorded quite a few albums. They toured for many years, including opening for the Rolling Stones.
I did not know that either.
Yeah, they appeared at Altamont.
I think I remember seeing them on the Sonny and Cher show.
I think they were. I think they were.
Yeah.
They were on a lot of TV shows. And unfortunately, Ike was a cocaine addict and very abusive, and she finally sneaked out and moved to another area. Their first real, they had a couple of hits like I Think It's Gonna Work Out Fine, but what really put them on the map was their cover of Creedence's Proud Mary.
I'm gonna take it to you nice and easy.
And then,
I do.
and by the way, John Fogerty liked her version, thought it was fantastic.
Oh, I bet he did.
Yeah. Then she appeared.
She owned it. She owned that.
Well,
version.
she owned every song she sang, but she was then in Ken Russell's film version of The Who's musical Tommy as the Acid Queen, and she was really great.
How is that not perfect for her?
Yeah, and she was an influence on Mick Jagger, and a lot of people remember their appearance on stage together at Live Aid. But her life went to hell because of her marriage to Ike, and
but it came back.
she fled to a Ramada Inn in Dallas, and then asked her friend Anne Margaret, you know her, airfare to Los Angeles, and then, just got out from under his thumb, and eventually started working as a solo performer, and she had some success. But it was kind of fleeting for a while. And then she was doing... she did a song with a band called Heaven 17, and they did a remake of Let's Stay Together. And the manager was so impressed, he signed her to Capitol Records. And
Let's Stay Together, like from...
Since We've Been Together.
Oh, see, I think of Let's Stay Together, yeah, yeah, yeah. Think of all the...
No.
The Parent Trap, no? Okay. Different song.
Oh, God, Parent Trap, really?
Different song. All right.
There's nothing more white in the world than Haley Mills. Come on. Anyway.
Okay.
So they signed her to Capitol Records. She released...
Is that the Come With Me Weather?
Yeah.
Day or Night or The Thing in the Stone?
Yeah, that one. Private Dancer was a song written by Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits, by the way.
Money. Do what you want me to do.
You know who wrote that, right?
No.
I was just mumbling it as
I
you were
heard.
belting it.
Yeah, I didn't until you were mumbling it while I was singing over the top of it.
It was it was Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits.
Mark Knopfler, yes.
Mark Knopfler.
The Money for Nothing guy.
Yeah, Money for Nothing dude. And then...
That dude could write, man.
Yeah, he's a great songwriter and guitarist. Decent singer. Brothers in Arms is a great album. So is Making Movies. I like their stuff a lot. But she finally did her big hit, What's Love Got to Do With It, which became a gigantic hit. It spent 3 weeks at number one. She didn't like the song at first, but then she redid it.
I thought she wrote the song.
No.
Oh, because it fit her so well.
It was written by boom 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 boom.
It's
a guy named Terry Britton, who wrote a lot of hit songs in the 80s.
Logical.
And so with that, she got huge, and then she was in
She had like almost a third career.
Yeah. And then she was
about
in
resilient. My
Mad
God.
Max Beyond Thunderdome.
But he's such a raggedy man.
I've never seen that one, but
I
anyway.
have. I love that series.
And then she was at Live Aid with Mick Jagger, like I said before. Then she wrote a book called I, Tina, which was her autobiography, which became the movie What's Love Got to Do With It.
Which I have not seen. I would like to see that.
We'll see that sometime. But she continued on and on until about 1999. That's That's when she did her final album, which is called 24/7. And after that, she kind of faded from view.
Well, good Lord, she was in her 60s?
Yeah.
She deserved some rest.
She eventually wound up living in Switzerland, and that's where she passed.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. So.
Well, the world says goodbye to an icon, and
Yeah.
she will
Her
forever...
legs were 2 of the 7 wonders of the world.
Telling 2 of the 7, yeah.
So,
She had the most amazing legs. That's one of the things I used to joke about, is that my mom had Tina Turner legs, just legs up to her armpits, just gorgeous. And she worked them too, man.
and she did some great duets, not just with Jagger, but with Rod Stewart and with Bryan Adams. It's Only Love, great song. And just on and on and on.
And from what I understand, she was a genuinely sweet human being to work with and for.
Yeah.
She wasn't like certain other people that were total psycho hose beasts off camera, or total bitter
divas and
total bitter divas that put down other divas like Tina, whose name shall
Oh,
his
come
name shall
on.
not
Really?
be spoken.
Seriously?
I'm
You're still
still
on
mad
that
at him
trip?
for that.
You're still on that trip.
I'm never gonna forgive him for that.
She forgave him, so you can forgive him.
No, she's a better person than I am, or was.
Okay.
I'm
well,
okay with that.
All right, whatever.
I'm okay with admitting that Tina Turner was a better person than I am. I'll never forgive him.
Okay.
You don't diss Tina Turner. Anyway,
I wonder how he feels now. But anyway.
who cares?
Yeah, well.
He's got FU money. He didn't care.
That's true. I have no idea who you're talking about. Take me to the pilot, take me to the...
Couldn't even be bothered to write Princess Diana her own song. He just had to do like a parody of one of his own songs for her. Cheapskate.
I hated that version of that song. I despised Goodbye England's Rose.
It was
I did
dumb.
not like it. It was dumb.
And he
stupid,
still
and
didn't know
dumb.
what color her damn eyes were. What a... Anyway, God, we lift up Tina Turner. May she rest in peace. And what a career. What an amazing lady.
Definitely.
And what
definitely.
she
She
endured
brought a
was...
lot of joy to a lot of people.
And what she endured was an inspiration to many, many people out there.
Alrighty. So, on Wednesday, Ron DeSantis entered the presidency and the nation yawned.
I really thought he was going to hold off. I really did.
Well, the funny thing is, he launched it on Twitter, and as a result, there was a lot of tech issues, and the sound was dropping out repeatedly. So, it's just, if that's the start of his campaign, I can only imagine what the finish is going to be like.
Well, the thing is, I like the guy. I like what he's doing in Florida. But they've already started systematically destroying him in Trump fashion. But the diehard Trumpers will resent him if he becomes the nominee, which I doubt he will. And I don't think Trump will either. I think they're going to throw some lame duck Jeb Bush type safe choice. And basically, they just handed the election to whatever balloon animal they put in place of Biden. Even if it's Biden himself, he's still a balloon animal.
Yeah.
They basically just handed it over. So any dreams that you had of us taking back our nation and righting the economy and fixing all this nonsense, just let it go. Hunker down. Do some pickling. Get some food in your freezer. Try to get a generator, some clean water, because it ain't going to get...
We got the freezer, now we just need a generator
It
and
ain't
clean
going to
water.
get any better, folks.
She goes into full-on survivalist mode. I'm not there yet, but I'm watching.
Well, the sad thing
carefully.
is we're on low-carb diet, so all my bags of rice and beans and everything are all
if
last
we were
resort.
in survival mode, I would eat the stuff.
No,
Trust
you
me.
would. I would.
Yeah.
I would find ways of making it more of a complex protein, but yeah.
Yeah, throw a steak on top of it. That's how you do it.
Well, we live on a bison ranch, so I think if worse comes to worse, you'd be out there jumping on a bison and gnawing on it. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Probably.
But get out of cities. Get out of cities and get your kids out of public school because it's not going to
Definitely.
It's not going to get better.
We could go for days on public schools, and
Yeah.
we're not just talking about grade school. We're talking college, where
Especially college.
a professor can take apart a pro-life
Yeah, they can
display
violently chase people down the street with machetes, and it takes the third incident of that happening before she gets fired.
Yeah.
Talk about privilege, my lord. Don't even get started with privilege. That's privilege. Well, let's just completely change the subject and head on into...
Counterculture Wise is proud to present News of the Weird and Wonderful. Here are your hosts, Melanie Hope and Jim Monis.
This first story looks like it might hit home a little bit. I'm gonna
It
let
does.
you run with it.
I can imagine something like that happening on the property on which we live, but this happens across the pond. A British couple said an insurance company has finally agreed to pay for repairs 10 months after a herd of escaped buffalo dropped by their yard for a pool party.
Now, their buffalo look a lot different from our buffalo.
That's true, because they're not Yankee buffalo. They're
Ah.
Brit buffalo.
They're British buffaloes.
Yeah.
That would explain why they're sleeker and more effeminate.
Yes. And speak in a British accent.
I
And-
say!
Jolly well, nay what? Andy, and that was the worst British accent I've ever done.
Not pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Andy and Lynette Smith of Wivenhoe, Essex, said the 18 escaped water buffaloes.
Oh, okay, so they're water buffaloes.
water
That's a different
buffaloes.
type of buffalo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that does make sense that they were in the pool, though.
There you go. The 18 escaped water buffaloes caused more than $31,000 in damage when they wandered in onto the couple's property, and 8 of the animals took a dip in the swimming pool. The animals then stampeded across the property, ruining fencing and flower beds. The couple said it was difficult to get help from authorities. You
What?
think-
What's all this now?
What's all this then?
Shoo! Shoo, buffalo! Shoo!
When my wife went to make the morning tea, she glanced out of the kitchen window and saw 8 buffaloes in the pool, Eddie Smith told The Guardian. She called 999 and was told the fire brigade wouldn't accept hoax calls.
Oh, no, the poor woman. No, you don't understand. There are buffaloes in my pool.
It took some persuading to get them to take us seriously. When they arrived, one of the buffaloes, spooked by their high-vis jackets, headed straight at them.
Oh, no.
That'll teach them not to believe it.
And that's what you get for wearing red jackets.
The owner of the animals was summoned to the property and was able to round up the uninjured animals. The Smiths said the Farmers Insurance Company, NFU Mutual, accepted liability for the damage to the pool and the yard, but they ran into trouble agreeing on a settlement. This pool was our retirement luxury bought when I sold the business, which I'd spent years building up. It was earned by a lot of sweat and toil, but after the buffalo swim, it was leaking 75 gallons a day and was unusable.
Oh, that's too bad.
NFU Mutual finally agreed to pay the full amount of the damages after 10 months of deliberations. We apologize for the delay paying this claim, and in particular the initial wait for an inspector's visit, which took too long and fell short of our usual standards, a company spokesman said. We have a duty to all our members to ensure we validate the cost of claims, and in this instance we needed to gain further assurance around the costs involved in repairing the damage. What's going on? Happened to my voice
Thank
there.
you for calling NFU. Piss off!
Piss off. Inside joke.
Criminy.
Oh, God.
Water buffalo. So, why were there a herd of water buffalo?
They must have. They escaped from a neighbor's property, I believe.
Okay, so why did our neighbor have a herd of water buffalo?
No idea. You'd have to talk to them.
The
I really
funniest part
honestly
about this
don't
is
know.
it's on TikTok. Somebody. Nope, that's not the water buffalo. That's
No.
somebody being attacked by a dog.
Doesn't sound
Gotta
like water
love
buffalo.
TikTok. It's never the thing you think it's gonna be.
True.
Okay. Well, I'm sure this has happened before.
I'm sure it has too, but The video's adorable.
Cameras were rolling at Yankee Stadium when a squirrel ran across the outfield wall, eliciting shocked reactions from fans in the nearby seats. A video posted to Twitter by the official Major League Baseball account shows the squirrel running across the wall during the New York Yankees game against the Baltimore Orioles. Fans can be seen pulling back in their seats, many of them with their mouths agape as the rodent speeds past. It's just a cute little squirrel, people. What are you freaking out about? The video ends with the squirrel jumping from the wall to the outfield. Look at me, I can be center squirrel. Okay, sorry. A second video captured by a fan of the stand shows the squirrel running around in the outfield during gameplay. The ultimate fate of the squirrel was unknown. Squirrel fritters. But its visit was apparently an omen of luck for the Yankees, who won the game 6-5. Well,
Yay.
yeah, everybody knows that squirrels eat Orioles food. We watch that every day in our backyard. So if the squirrel's going to be on any side, it's going to be the Yankees.
Oh, boy. All righty. So, we've got an odd situation. We don't know. This is from the New York Times, and there's a lot of contradiction. And Melanie was researching this for about an hour before we went on.
I'm trying to figure out what actually happened, and there has been no update on this since May 18th.
It gets kind of suspect at this point.
Yeah, so if we do hear anything before the end of the week or before we leave, we will definitely add that. But it's really weird that we're not hearing anything about this. So I'll let you go ahead and read.
Okay.
And I'll interject as you go along because, that's what I do.
That's what you do, Hope. For more than 2 weeks, search and rescue teams in Colombia have scoured the Amazon rainforest for 4 children who were aboard a plane that crashed on May 1st. The bodies of the 3 adults on board were found in the wreckage, but there was no sign of the children. Then on Wednesday night, Colombia's president, Gustavo Petro, posted on Twitter what appeared to be remarkable news. The country's armed forces had found the 4 children alive. A joy for our country, he said. But he may have spoken too soon. Quickly, local news reports cited military sources that said the armed forces had not made contact with the children, and the nation's child welfare agency, the Colombian Institute of Family Welfare, known by its Spanish initials ICBF, then confirmed that in a statement. Information was received.
It isn't ICBS?
I don't know.
Just wondering.
Ha ha. Information. Well, it depends on how you pronounce things. Information was received from the territory assuring contact was made with the 4 boys and girls, the agency said late Wednesday. However, the military forces have not yet been able to establish official contact due to adverse weather conditions and difficult terrain. So was that a choo-choo terrain or an electric terrain?
Oh, God.
Babu.
You really had to engineer that joke. Now that you've taken us completely off track.
Let's continue.
One more joke like that and I'll kick you in the caboose.
Oh, yeah. Okay. By Thursday evening, Mr. Petro...
That's for you, Dave.
Oh,
I'm sure he'll have like 20 more.
By Thursday morning, Mr. Petro had deleted his tweet, but then later posted another tweet seeking to explain his actions.
Well, yeah, he was excited. I mean, that's a fantastic story. And now it's like, well, what is it? I'm totally confused.
Yeah, I decided to delete the tweet because the information provided by the IBBF could not be confirmed. I regret what happened, he wrote. The military forces and the indigenous communities will continue in their tireless search to give the country the news it is waiting for. At this moment, there is no other priority than to move forward with the search until they are found. The children's lives are the most important thing. And it goes on and on and on and on, as Steve Perry would sing.
Okay, so yeah, and on and on. So these are indigenous children. So if anybody would have the wherewithal to be able to survive in that environment, it would be them.
Right.
If they were found by indigenous tribes or a village or something, they'd be more likely to be helped. But it seems at this point, they've vanished. And it's just the weirdest thing. So we are praying that they're safe and healthy and either got help or the reporting's just really bad. I mean, this is like Ukrainian war level reporting we're getting right now. Just what the heck is actually going on. So hopefully, I mean, the mere fact that they survived is a miracle. So hopefully,
It's true.
hopefully we'll find these kids.
Alrighty.
Next up, this is getting into, I'm not sure where this lands, but Brittany Griner, who we've talked about, the moron that went to Russia to play basketball, who, by the way, has a voice deeper than Sam Elliott and breasts about the same size as Sam Elliott's. I'm just putting that out there. Supposed to be a woman. She, he, it, whatever, not sure, not judging, was notorious for being un-American and entitled and all the things that go with her generation. Well, apparently, since she was parked in a gulag for, breaking the laws of a foreign nation by smuggling drugs, and Bumble and Joe traded the Merchant of Death for her sorry butt, she's all of a sudden willing to stand for the national anthem of her own country. So I guess this is good news?
Yeah, it's great
Did
news.
she learn something?
If she
I don't
learned
know.
a lesson, I'm happy.
We'll see.
Okay.
So she was stripped of her essential American freedoms, which before she said she didn't have any of.
Right.
During the 10 months she spent detained in Russia in 2022. And now that she's home and back to playing the sport she loves, which hardly anybody attended and they had a big fit about that, the WNBA superstar has opted to stand for the national anthem throughout the 2023 season. We'll see how long that lasts. Her agent, Lindsay Kagwa Kolas, why do they all have to have three awful names, penned an essay for Time magazine published Friday where she explained the reasoning behind Griner's choice to stand up physically for the anthem itself and symbolically for the rights of their peers to make themselves heard and express dissent loudly and boldly.
Okay, great.
Good. Welcome
Excellent.
back to America. Glad to have you with us. Having been put in a literal cage too small for her frame, stripped of her essential American freedoms, and deprived of even her most basic rights during a sham trial and unjust sentencing, Brittany, supported by many other so she brought illegal drugs into a country, was caught bringing illegal drugs into the country, was tried and found guilty of bringing illegal drugs into the country, and was given the same sentence as any other person who would have brought illegal drugs into the country.
SHAM, sham.
Okay.
What?
I mean, I don't agree with, 10 years in the gulag for pot. Yet, I also wouldn't be taking pot into a country that I knew damn well it was illegal in. And just assume that my privilege would get me out, which it did.
It did.
It did. Anyways, she was supported by many other players. She'll make a statement this season by standing tall for those uniquely American freedoms, the most important of which being the absolute and inviolable and constitutionally protected freedoms to stand, sit, kneel, praise, protest, and otherwise make your voice heard. Of course, if I'm going to talk, I can't talk as low as she does. I mean, her voice is literally Sam Elliott level.
I don't know if I can talk that low.
She could do the CNN lead-in. I mean, her voice is
CNN.
yeah, it's even lower than that. It's freaking
Lower
low.
than James Earl Jones?
Yeah,
That's
she's
scary.
I'm not even joking.
Wow.
I'll have to find a piece of it because her voice is low. And again, no breast, zero, completely flat, washboard. Just
That actually works
Just
to your
weird.
advantage as a
Just
female
weird.
athlete.
Just
though, but
saying.
Anyway.
and what is she, like 6'8"? She's like
She's a big
insane.
girl. Big girl.
And of course covered in tattoos. Anyway, she spent 294 days in Russian custody, some of it in a penal colony after her arrest and subsequent conviction on drug charges. The U.S. government deemed her wrongfully detained, but not the Marines that are still there, and not the Merchant of Death that is now free and laughing at us. And thanks to prisoner exchange between the White House and Moscow, in which Putin just laughed his ass off while he spanked Hayden Biden, she returned in time for the 2022 holidays to her wife. And they go on to talk about the game that hardly anybody attended, and then they had a big fit and whined about how hardly anybody cared.
Because nobody does. WNBA is not the same draw as the regular NBA. It never
They
has
think they
been,
should
never
get
will
paid
be.
the same, though.
They get paid more if you look at the, I'm not going to get into that right now.
Well, and the same thing with the soccer players. It's like, honey, a person who sells Pinto station wagons does not get paid the same as a person who sells a Lexus
Right.
or a BMW. It's
Right.
just a fact of life. You are the Pinto. The other guys are the
Beamers, right.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
they don't seem to understand. Well, we play just as hard. Well, the Pinto seller sells just as hard, you
Yeah.
know, but they don't make as much, and that's just those are the breaks.
Right.
All right,
All
so we
right.
got squirrels, thwirls, basketball players. What else you got for me?
We got a major retailer.
Oh God, what are they doing now?
This is just interesting.
Oh yes, we're targeting our children,
So to speak.
literally.
Mega retailer Target is pulling some of its merchandise that celebrates Pride Month after threats to employees, the company said Tuesday.
Okay, now threatening the employees is not cool.
No,
That
but
is not cool.
However, a lot of people believe they're being threatened when they're just being talked to.
Well, there is that.
I only, I'm not passing judgment on anything.
Like the
'Cause
crazy
it was
teacher
not-
that knocked over a display because she said that pamphlets were violence.
Oh,
And then chased people down the street with a machete.
I don't know. Since introducing this year's collection, we've experienced threats impacting our team members' sense of safety and well-being while at work, a Target spokesperson said in a statement. Given these volatile circumstances, we're making adjustments to our plans, including removing items that have been at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior,
Are
the
they
spokesperson
specific
said.
about these items?
No, of course not.
Well, I can be specific about these items
I will
because
be
I've
in,
seen the videos.
It's in some of it's in here.
Okay,
So
all right.
let me go ahead and read it, and then you can add whatever you like. The retailer's decision comes amid a wider national debate over civil rights for transgender people. That's very inaccurate, because I don't care about transgender people when they're adult. It's parents allowing their children to become mangled that I have a problem with. Target did not say which items were being removed or immediately provide more details about the threats. This is what Melanie was driving at. The collection includes, quote, tuck-friendly swimsuits that allow trans people who have not yet had gender-affirming operations to conceal their private parts, the Associated Press previously reported. Those swimsuits, which are available only in adult sizes, were used in false and misleading claims by critics online.
Not true.
I should say that the source of this so-called news is NBC. Okay,
Oh, so
just
raving
leaving that
lunatics. Gotcha.
there. The Target spokesperson did not answer whether those bathing suits were among the products in question. The retailer said it has offered products to go along with Pride Month for more than a decade. That is true. They have. But it's just been T-shirts with rainbows, rather benign, harmless stuff. It's just getting silly now. Pride Month is June and celebrates lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people and issues.
You can go on their website right now and buy chest binders for children. And sadly, Walmart sells them too. So you can't even go to their competition.
Well, I got to shop somewhere, but anyway, our focus now is on
Shop locally. Besides, you don't need chest binders.
That's true.
All I'm saying
I don't
is
even need regular 3-ring binders. I got a bunch
we're
of
only a
those
couple
too.
of days away from Pander to the Pedos month, and I will actively avoid anything that's pandering. All brands, from gas to groceries, I'm out. I'd rather go hungry.
I don't like going hungry, but anyway, I don't think it's going to come to that. We've got multiple.
Like I said, you can always run out there with a with a
Kill
butcher
one of
knife
them.
and jump on a bison. There you
Yeah,
go.
well, maybe. Our focus now is on moving forward our continuing commitment to the LGBTQIA
The Rainbow
plus
Mafia.
community and standing with them as we celebrate Pride Month and throughout the year, the store's spokesperson said Tuesday.
Why do we have to celebrate it? I thought you were supposed to be born that way. I'm not proud that I was born fat or that I was born white. Why are you proud that you were born gay? That's ridiculous.
Some conservatives have made transgender issues a focus of attacks and criticism, and some state legislatures have passed legislation about bathrooms. There have
We're
also
talking
been,
about children, though, okay?
I know.
Children.
But they're not. They're very, very carefully
avoiding the
avoiding it.
facts.
There have also been laws and rules targeting medical care for the trans community.
Children.
Bud Light came under fire for its partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney this
Who
spring.
markets to children? Hello?
Weeks after the online campaign, sales of Bud Light continue to plummet. By the way,
Good.
about that beer, they're going to buy back the expired beer. It's going to cost them a fortune
Why would they buy it back and not just dump it?
because they're buying it back from the distributors
I was going
and,
to say,
and the
any
liquor
retailer
dealers.
or
It's not,
distributor that bought it should have to eat it because they were still buying it, dum-dums.
well, but
At some point,
but
you
some
got to
of this-
stand up for something.
But no, but I used to work at a grocery store, and sometimes those products are backed up for months. They're in storerooms for months and months. It's not like all of a sudden it comes to a screeching halt and you have 5 12-packs. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, some gay bars in Chicago said they would boycott Bud Light after Anheuser-Busch distanced itself from Mulvaney. See, they got themselves in such a mess right now because the conservatives are ticked at them. The very people they were pandering to, marketing to, are pissed at them. It's really a bad
The
idea.
people they were pandering to don't drink, fizzy horse piss. They drink like Zima or something.
Yeah,
Is that even still a thing, Zima?
it comes out occasionally. It's not something you can readily get at the liquor store anymore. So anyway, there's that. That isn't that a great way to wind up a story? Anyway, that's that. That's the story of that.
That's that. That's supposed to be weird and wonderful. But I do not condone threatening employees. The employees had positively nothing to do with it. So stop it, you stupid, stupid people. You're making us look hateful and vengeful, and that's not what we are. Protect the children. Let the adults do what they want to do as long as they ain't getting their grubby mitts on kids. But do not threaten employees of stores. They have no say in the matter. Stop being twats. Just stop it, okay? There is no need for violence here. Just protect the children. That's all I'm asking. I think that's reasonable.
I think it's very reasonable.
I don't want children being put on hormones that sterilize them for life. I don't want children getting body parts cut off that they don't need. My opinion on whether I think this whole trans nonsense is real or not has nothing to do with anything. There's no need for violence. There is no need for hate. Do not threaten employees. Protect the children. Boycott the companies that are being dumbasses. And leave everybody else alone. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Let's report on some real good news.
This one's cool. This is a great story.
I'm glad I'm not super famous because I know that so many of my comments will be taken out of context, cut up, and I get called a white
I wish we were
supremacist on a
famous.
daily.
Honestly, let the money
Seriously,
roll in. I want to be famous.
I get called a white supremacist on a daily basis. I am the worst Nazi ever. I suck at Nazism as much as that guy who that Indian Hindu guy who slowly drove his U-Haul, his empty U-Haul, over the curb in the vicinity of the White House and was thus called a Nazi terrorist trying to kill the president because the FBI pulled out a pristine Nazi flag and laid it out nice and flat and wrinkle-free on the cement for the press to take pictures of while they wrestled the dark brown Hindu Indian dude with a 37-syllable name to the ground, hauled him off to jail, and charged him with white supremacy. You did read this story, right? This.
No.
Holy crap! This actually happened.
I heard about the guy driving the truck, but I didn't know about the rest of it.
Yeah, dude is a dark brown Hindu Indian. The truck was going approximately 5 miles an hour. I think he just oversteered and tried to get off the curb. I don't even think he was attempting to do anything. And they a violent crash into the White House. He wasn't anywhere near the White House. He hopped a curb. He probably put it in second instead of drive and couldn't steer the wheel. He was probably trying to figure out how to drive his stick. The truck was empty. He had no weapons. Obviously, he was not a white supremacist Nazi. In fact, being Hindu, he probably, if that flag actually was in the cabin, which I highly doubt, probably was part of his religion because that symbol means something else in Hindu.
Right.
And what would possibly be the purpose of pulling out the flag and carefully spreading it out on the cement so that the press could take pictures of it and that's all they would see? And then what was really fascinating is after calling him a white supremacist, after calling him a Nazi, after saying white supremacy is the worst thing that's ever happened to America, that's the number one threat, the president was under threat, he was, white supremacists are coming after him and Kamala, on and on and on and on and on. Once they found out what this dude's name was and they had a mugshot of him, they're doing the blank egg thing like they do on Twitter if you don't have an account. Mm-hmm. They won't say his name and they won't show his picture. All of a sudden, he's just the suspect. Huh. Looking for Nazis in all the wrong places. Just saying. Anyway, I thought that was hilarious. All right. But let's get back to good news.
Yeah, where did that go?
Well, we didn't get to report on that story. I'm sure Chuck will have something to say about it.
Sure he will.
All right. When a Maryland mother couldn't find an inclusive space for her boys with special needs, she decided to create one of her own. After 15 years as a real estate agent, Monique Sotomarino opened That Smoothie Place, all capitals, That Smoothie Place, to give jobs and internships to anyone with special needs. Yay, Mom. Her business partners with Montgomery County Public Schools by providing internships and jobs. I didn't want to... isn't this what the Salvation Army used to do?
Things along those lines, yeah.
I think they still do.
Yeah, they still do. They're mostly...
I know Deseret does that.
They're mostly a relief organization now. I mean, they're a church, but they're also mostly a relief.
Well, and the other one, the secondhand store, Goodwill.
Store.
Yeah, they do that too.
Goodwill is the one that provides jobs.
And Deseret does that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Her business partners with Montgomery County County Public Schools by providing internships and jobs. I didn't want to focus just on higher functioning individuals, but individuals of all abilities, and give them their opportunity to try this place out. Sometimes it might take a little longer to get your smoothie, so Sotomarino provides entertainment at all the tables. I love to see families come in and put down their phones and actually focus on the games. I even have families, they switch tables, she said. I love this. Her goal is to bring That Smoothie Place to other cities so they can partner with other districts too. I would totally be into that. Getting families to play games, getting, folks that aren't otherwise employable, jobs that there's nothing like the look on someone's face when they feel like they're contributing to society, when they have a job and they know that they're earning their own way.
It's a good feeling.
It is. And for someone who probably spent most of their life being told that wasn't something they could do, to find a way to contribute. And there are so many ways. When you just sit back and give up, no, that's stupid. Every corporate job I've ever worked with, there's been an intern or a coworker with, who had Downs, or, they always were the best workers, the most positive, fun people, the sweetest, kindest people. It's like I would take 10 of them over one super brilliant, thinks they know everything, person. It's like, yeah,
Right.
once they learn their job, not only are they thrilled to do it, but they're fun to work with. So I love this mom. I love this mom.
That is fantastic. So, this is cool. Well, all of our wonderful news is cool, but
Well, you know how I love science, so the last
Yeah.
couple are sciencey.
sciencey is good. An environmentally
Because I'm a gun-toting, Trump-voting science denier over here, so if there's one thing I hate, it's science.
well, she's a gun toter, but anyway. An environmentally clean fuel made from the power of the sun has been devised by scientists which could revolutionize motoring. The solar-powered technology converts... I knew that was coming.
What's your price for flight?
Boom, boom, bam, boom,
Fly
boom,
too
bam.
close to the sun, or you'll burn up everyone. Okay, sorry, I had to get it out of my system.
But it is out, yes.
It's, well, I mean,
Okay,
Yeah.
for the moment.
quack.
Solar-powered technology converts carbon dioxide and water into liquid fuels that can be directly dropped into a vehicle's engine. The researchers from University of
Well, I can
Cambridge...
directly drop sugar into a vehicle's engine. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing. Just saying.
Yep, you're just saying and saying
And saying.
and saying. The researchers from the University of Cambridge harnessed the power of photosynthesis to convert CO2, water, and sunlight into multi-carbon fuels, ethanol and propanol, in a single step.
That is
That is
bloody
cool.
amazing.
These fuels have a high energy density and can be easily stored or transported, according to scientists whose work was published in Nature Energy. Shining sunlight on the artificial leaves and getting liquid fuel from carbon dioxide and water is an amazing bit of chemistry, said Dr. Motar Rahman, the new study's first author.
Dr. Motar Ramen.
Okay, now that song's in my head.
Ramen.
Normally, when you try to convert CO2 into another chemical product, are you sure you shouldn't be taking meds for this?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You cannot say a name like that.
You almost always get carbon monoxide or syngas, but here we've been able to produce or syngas, not syngas. But here
Syngas, tomato,
we have been able to produce a practical liquid fuel just using the power of the sun. They managed this by developing a copper and palladium-based catalyst optimized to allow the artificial leaf to produce more complex chemicals. Unlike fossil fuels, these solar fuels produce net zero carbon emissions and are completely renewable. And unlike most bioethanol, they do not divert any agricultural land away from food production, experts
See,
said.
that is some
That is amazing.
problem-solving science that did not require a bunch of, indulgences, trading, and fines and fees. This is what the free market does.
And true. True as that.
Plus, you can have cars that are actual lemons, but they'll run anyway because of their artificial leaves on top.
It's true.
I think this is brilliant. Love this idea. I'm behind it 100% of the time, as I am this next one.
All right. Let's hear it.
So it looks like we might be able to use Biden's diapers after all.
Aw, cool.
Seeking to find sustainable solutions to low-cost housing in Indonesia, scientists in the world's third most populous nation hypothesized that used diapers could, if one can believe it, replace some of the sand in concrete mixtures. Now, I do know of entire nations that build their houses using bat guano, so why not baby guano? Although it's the diapers themselves,
It's the
apparently.
diapers themselves.
Disposable diapers are usually manufactured from wood pulp, cotton, viscose rayon, and plastics such as polyester, polyethylene, and polypropylene. Did you see polyethylene pan? She's a...
No? Okay. Because of this mix of Beatles, because of this mix of materials, not to mention their disgusting purpose,
She's so
the
good looking,
majority.
but she looks like a man.
Thank you.
I got it.
Thank you. Okay. Because of this mix of materials, not to mention their disgusting purpose, the majority are disposed of in landfills or by incineration. Currently, the essential step in the recycling process for used diapers is to separate the plastic components from the organic fibers. If you're hearing a lot of snorting and growling, that is not Jim eating a burger. That is indeed
Jim
the
will be
puppies.
eating a burger after this segment, but that's another story.
That is the puppies playing. So just enjoy the snarling.
Enjoy the exuberance while you can.
Yeah, it's puppy energy. Guess I couldn't kick them out. They're just too cute. Currently,
Maybe you can. Just
maybe
turn
I
it a
can
little
kick them
louder.
out. I changed my mind. All right. It necessitates the execution of many complicated procedures, including collecting, crushing, sanitizing, and sorting the components. Gerger. Due to the difficulty involved in the process, only a few businesses are currently interested in recycling used diapers. It takes a certain type to be interested in recycling used diapers. Dude from School of Environmental Engineering, University of something I can't pronounce in Japan, worked with colleagues to prepare concrete and mortar samples by combining washed, dried, thank you for including that, and shredded disposable diaper waste with cement, sand, gravel, and water.
How interesting.
These samples were then cured for 28 days. The authors tested 6 samples containing different proportions of diaper waste to measure how much pressure they could withstand without breaking. They then calculated the maximum proportion of sand that could be replaced with disposable diapers and a range of building materials that would be needed to construct a house with a floor plan of 387 square feet that complies with Indonesian building standards. If you head on over to counterculturewise.com, not only will we have archived, of course, all of these articles, but you will be able to see the pictures that accompany these articles. So it looks like a structural component column beam strength 10 to 25 MPa, disposable diaper 10% to 27%, architectural component disposable diaper 8% to 40%, floor strength 8.5 to 10 MPa, disposable diaper max 9%. That's pretty significant. So the authors found that disposable diaper waste could replace up to 10% of the sand needed for concrete columns and beams in a 3-story house. Fascinating. This proportion increased to 27% of the sand needed to make concrete columns and beams in a single-story house, 40% of the sand needed for mortar in partition walls, compared to 9% of the sand in mortar for floors. The authors point out a few limitations, namely that no cooperation or chain supply exists, surprisingly, for the collecting, washing, and shredding of diapers for material purposes. Furthermore, the amount of shredded diaper waste needs to be carefully calculated, since tests show that the difference is as high as 2% compromised structural integrity. Now, this is still pretty new, but pretty significant. So I think if they continue down this path, they and the the fake leaf solar-powered car people might just save the dang planet. Combined with the kid that came up with the microorganism that eats oil out of the ocean and a few of the other things that we're seeing. I mean, there's some things that seriously could turn around every single climate issue that we're worried about. And it's funny that we always think, oh, we need to impose all these fines and these punishments and all these things, when really we are able to solve just about anything that we need to if we allow science, technology, and the free market to do what it does best. So this would be a very low cost alternative, and it would reduce the landfill burden, and it would also increase building supplies. So all around, an awesome thing. Well, believe it or not, we have talked ourselves into the top of the hour. Got to pay some bills, and we will be right back with This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things Chuckle Check-In. We've got our famous new game show, Is It Racist? And some more goodies coming up, so don't go
away.
anywhere.
Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Hector and Grumble. No, really.
At Hector and Grumble, we want to let the world know we care, and care deeply about the world and our future as human beings. As a result, we have bowed to the whims of a tiny but very loud minority of our customers. We set the tone last year with our now famous ad for our Galoot shaving products division, Men Suck. The response was overwhelming. But we ignored it and doubled down with an ad featuring a trans child using our product to shave the teeny-weeny patches of peach fuzz off of their face. We realized that this basically could have been accomplished with a butter knife and soap, and due to our our stand on this issue, we have lost billions of dollars in profits for our shareholders over the past year. But hey, it's only money. It's the principle after all. Not to be outdone this year, we are removing the Venus symbol from the packaging of our sometimes feminine hygiene products as a result of protesting from transgender activists. We know they will never be able to use our products, but at Hector and Grumble, it's always the optics. So what about our future plans for your favorite Hector and Grumble brands? Well, we have an exciting announcement. Our Gloom electric toothbrushes and our famous line of Crust toothpastes will no longer emphasize their whitening power in our ads because, after all, whitening power is racist. You heard it here first, folks. Hector and Grumble wants to be your consumer products company, but we want to be liked even more. Will you like us? Please and thank you.
In this digital society, making connections is quickly becoming a lost art form. Yet, if you are a small business owner, building your network is the only way you can get ahead. Can these skills be learned? You bet they can. Read Nose to Nose Networking. No-nonsense, in-person networking tips from a master. Who's the master? Well, who better to teach networking and friend-building skills than a golden retriever? The author, Melanie Hope, takes the antics of Abigail and translates them into the human experience. Through Abby, you will learn how to set your intention, build a network, and get into and out of conversations with grace. If you love the Dog Abby segments on our show, you will love Nose to Nose Networking even more. Find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, in hard copy or on Kindle or Nook. Visit counterculturewise.com for direct links.
Life has become so much more complex these days, and we know there are days when you want to forget about everything. We have the answer. Inspired by one of the paragons of our political world, we are proud to introduce Biden Beers. Whether you choose our creepy cream ale, our quid pro porter, our sleepy stout, or our hair sniffer hefeweizen, you will know that you are drinking beer brewed by the finest bots in the world, using only the best barley, hops, and chloroform. One taste and you will wonder why Biden Beer was missing from your life. Two tastes and you will wonder where your pants are. When you want to forget it all just like Joe does, treat yourself to a nice cold Biden. Biden Brewery Company, Kiev, Ukraine.
Yeah, I get it. Your parents were jerks and you're traumatized. But that doesn't mean you should use your lousy childhood as an excuse to be a lousy adult. Stop being such a whiner and get past your past already. Buy Get Over It and Get Started, the book by Melanie Hope that will get you out of your self-imposed failure and on the road to greatness. Available in paperback, Kindle, and Nook.
I was living an ideal life with an amazing family, a good job, and lots of friends. I was also a peaceful patriot who loved my country. I woke up every day to be grateful to be an American. But then I realized my life was so good it was almost fictional. I mean, my life made so much sense that it stopped making sense, you know what I mean? Then a friend told me about Libtardium.
Introducing Libtardium, a treatment for severe rationality and excessive common sense. I'm generally a decent guy, and most people who know me really like me. But one day I realized I lacked passion in my life. Then my wife told me about Libtardium. And let me tell you, the passion has returned with a vengeance. Hasn't it, honey?
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Patriarchal dunderhead.
Libtardium controls the neurons that promote excessive reasoning while stimulating the ones that trigger emotions. One dose of Libtardium is as effective as watching 16 hours of cable news.
I'm Senator Wishwash. I was a die-hard conservative until I decided that principles don't win elections. 1 week's treatment of Libtardium was enough to smooth my edges, become more relatable to the press and the electorate, and it made me your senator. Libtardium changed my life, and it can change yours.
Excessive exposure to Libtardium can cause sweats, dizziness, foaming at the mouth, and severe loss of IQ. Patients have reported inability to control their temper, as well as excessive and loud use of the term "re." Use of Libtardium can trigger psychotic reactions to MAGA hats and Candace Owens. Avoid Libtardium at family gatherings, ball games, churches, coffee shops, the Lincoln Memorial, Walmart, NRA meetings, car dealerships, French restaurants, tourist buses, shopping malls, social media, movie theaters, gymnasiums, airports, mosques, Christian bakeries, plant nurseries, nursery schools, and nurses' stations. Please consult your doctor if the stupid lasts for more than 24 hours. Use of Libtardium is not advised on Chicago streets during polar vortexes. Ask your local Democratic Party office if Libtardium is right for you.
Hello, my fans and loyal listeners. This is Maximilian von Riegelbieser for the Counterculture-Wise News and Variety Show, asking you to help you by supporting us. My interview program, my sister Fritzy's intrepid field reporting, and Abby's advice, along with Mumsy and Father's talk show, are all 100% funded by amazing people like you. Visit our website to toss us a tip or subscribe for less than $1 a day for extra goodies like outtakes, special deals, and first dibs on new videos. Also on our website, you will find amazing books written by Mumsy and merchandise gracing the handsome visage of yours truly. Support our operation by going to counterculturewise.com and click on the shop or support buttons. You will be glad you did. And so will I.
And now, from the fabulous CCW studios in beautiful Deep in Heart of Texas, liberal America's favorite game show, Is It Racist? With your host, Melanie Hope. Tonight's contestant is reluctant U.S. Marine, James Monis.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Oh, you're great. Thank you so much. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that's great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have some amazing headlines to go over. You know the premise of the show. We have Babylon Bee articles, we have made-up articles, and then, of course, we have absolutely 100% bona fide real headlines. And your job, Mr. Monis, is to tell us, is it racist? All right, thank you so much.
Hi, everybody.
All right, Jim. Let's start with the very first headline.
All righty, let's hear it.
How drinking coffee perpetuates white supremacy. Is it racist?
I think it's racist.
You are correct, sir. Created by black people for black people and now a pillar of white supremacist capitalism. If you consume coffee, you are helping an industry built on racism.
All right, we'll all have a nice cup of espresso racism, then, I guess.
All right. Our next headline. Citing racist history. Harvard bans using the word Harvard.
Okay. You know, it's too stupid not to be true, but I'm going to say it's not racist. That's not a true story.
Well, it is racist.
Okay.
But it's not racist! This is a Babylon Bee. Following the courageous example of USC, which banned the word field, I am not making this up, for its racist connotations, Harvard University has announced that they will no longer allow students or faculty to use the word Harvard due to its tragic history of racism. Yes, this is a Babylon Bee article, but the banning of the word field is indeed true.
Well, that came out of left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cancer Alley residents say they are victims of environmental racism in new lawsuit. So let me read you a little bit about this because the headline might not tell you enough.
True.
Residents of an area of Louisiana that has become known as Cancer Alley due to the prominence of pollution coming from industry there are alleging that they are the victims of environmental racism in a new lawsuit.
It's legit racist.
It's legit racist.
Yeah. By that I mean it's a true story.
Because only black people got cancer in the entire state.
Of course they did.
They specifically point to a 2014 land use plan issued by their parish, the Louisiana equivalent of a country, which designated majority black areas as places where industry could develop according to the lawsuit. The suit also says the plan protected Catholic churches, but left Baptist churches vulnerable to pollution.
So the pollution passes over the Catholic churches and goes straight to the Baptist ones.
You would think
And-
it would.
and by
You
the
would
way-
think that it passes over the Jewish temples, but no, sir.
What are you talking about? No, but let me ask you something. Aren't a lot of these people, black, white, and otherwise, employed by these factories, providing them with income to pay their bills and eat?
Sir, you're asking questions that is beyond the scope of this show.
My most humble apologies.
The suit also says the plan protected Catholic churches, but Baptist churches were vulnerable to pollution, which made the discrimination compound religious and racial, and thus doubly unlawful.
Oh, no.
Yes. The suit also said that the parish has approved every request by heavy industry to put facilities in majority black areas. Wait. What?
I don't know.
They approved every request. They approved every request, which is what made it racist to do it. Moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. The next headline. Why waking up early is rooted in white supremacy.
It's the sheets. It's the bed sheets.
Our sheets are green. Dark green.
Ah, see? Okay, I think
You want me to read some of it before you decide?
Yeah, go ahead and read a little bit of it.
The
first.
notion of waking up early and starting your day with the sun rising is often associated with productivity, success, and a strong work ethic.
Yes.
However, this seemingly innocuous concept is not without its historical and cultural implications.
Oh, God, forget it. You don't even have to read anymore. Some ivory tower dipstick disguised as a professor or a journalist is spewing this absolute nonsense, possibly even believing it to be true.
So waking up early is
Racist!
racist! In this article, we will explore the origins of the early rising narrative and how it is rooted in white supremacy, contributing to the perpetuation of racial inequities. Because
They're just making an excuse to sleep in. Dude, you don't make excuses.
by
Do
a
what I
white
do.
dude,
Sleep
though.
in. Forget
this
about
was
it.
written by a lily white dude.
That's how it usually is.
Yes. The idea that waking up early leads to success in a disciplined life can be traced back to various historical and religious contexts.
Okay, so which newspapers did he get fired from for being late all the time? This question. Sorry. Beyond the scope of the.
Good question. Beyond the scope of the show, it's called Medium. Stay curious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next.
Ready for the next one?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
SpongeBob SquarePants is violent and racist and whitewashes U.S. history.
Absolutely racist.
State your claim, sir.
I just did. Yellow is the new white.
SpongeBob SquarePants! A U.S. professor has branded SpongeBob SquarePants a violent and racist series that whitewashes U.S. military rampages.
What?
I don't recall military.
I don't recall. Did SpongeBob or Squidward or what was the other one? Jason?
I don't know.
The
Jason
starfish
Bourne,
guy?
whatever, yeah.
I just
You're
don't
going to
see
love
any of
where
them
this
being
comes
armed.
from.
Okay.
University of Washington anthropology professor Holly M. Barker drew parallels between the children's cartoon and the past use of the Marshall Islands for American nuclear testing.
One has nothing to do with the other. Oh my God. They're pulling at straws to keep their jobs.
They're
aren't they?
desperate, and it
That
is
is
Washington
insane.
State. So SpongeBob and the other characters in the long-running
Now
show
I'm gonna
live
watch
in an
SpongeBob
underwater
all week-
who
all
lives in
week.
a underwater town called Bikini Bottom. In the aftermath of the Second World War, the U.S. military moved natives off constituent islands of the Marshall Islands named Bikini Atoll, so as to test nuclear weapons in the area.
Right.
Ooh, the parallels.
What?
Bikini
parallels?
Atoll and a number of its neighboring islands remain too contaminated for habituation today. One fan theory has it that SpongeBob and his collection of weird and wonderful friends are the result of mutations caused by radiation on the Bikini Atoll above them. And we're supposed to be
And that's
tinfoil
how.
hat wearing conspiracy theorist weirdos. Okay, then.
And that's how a scrub-it sponge became a living, breathing thing. Okay.
All right. One last one. Is it racist? Actual headline. Or is it the white supremacist origins of exercise? And 6 other surprising facts about the history of U.S. physical fitness.
I was doubting until you said 6 other because it's just me being analytical rather than taking a guess, and 6 others means it was definitely some journalist who didn't have anything to write about. I think it's deliberately racist according to the article.
3 guesses what magazine this ran in the first 2 don't count.
I'm going to say Newsweek.
Nope.
I'm going to say People.
Nope. Time
Oh,
magazine.
so close.
How did the U.S. exercise trend go from reinforcing white supremacy to celebrating Richard Simmons? Hello! That evolution is explored in a new book by historian of exercise Natalia Mellon. God forgive me for not being able to pronounce that name, but I don't care. Because she is the author of the book Fit Nation, The Giants and Pains of America's Exercise Obsession. January 2023. So yes, this article goes on to explain why keeping yourself fit, being in good shape, not being a big fatty cow is white supremacy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for another fabulous episode.
It was a genuine pleasure being here, and I look forward to the next round.
You don't look like it was a genuine pleasure.
I'm sorry. It was a genuine pleasure, and I really look forward to the next round.
And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the next round of Is It Racist?
Brought to you by Pepperoni H for soothing your sausage.
Now, see, that's why we can't have nice things.
Alrighty, welcome to one of the best parts of the show. But then again, isn't every part of the show one of the best parts of the show?
I like to think so.
So, I love this one. A well-known
Maybe Satan?
Maybe. A well-known sculpture park in South Dakota was vandalized just before the season opening, apparently by intruders who mistakenly believed the art was satanic. The base of if you look at it in silhouette like it is,
yeah.
if you look at it in silhouette like it is in this photo, yeah, it looks a little.
Kinda.
And the little natives with their spears or whatever that is. Anyway, the basis of a bull sculpture was graffitied with the words, "Jesus is King, and Satan is defeated," and goat-faced guardian skeletons placed around it were beheaded.
Yee.
The owners of Porter Sculpture Park say it could take more than a year to repair the damage and other vandalism. The Argus Leader reports that when the family posted about the wreckage on social media, they received the comments to the effect of, "The vandalism was justified in the name of God." Sorry, I'm a Christian, but this stuff is ridiculous.
You gotta be careful to not make us look like morons.
Yeah, please stop making us look like idiots.
But then they're setting it up to make us look like morons
Yeah.
while being in our face blatant.
Yeah.
Just saying. Okay. Because, like I was saying, YouTuber who intentionally crashed an airplane for views will plead guilty to obstructing a federal investigation by cleaning up the site. Trevor Jacob 29 posted the video of the plane crash to YouTube in December 2021, implying it was an accident. And of course, it has over 2.9 million views. We're lucky if we can get 6 on a good day.
No, we have lots of viewers. They show up afterwards. They're on our
not on YouTube.
Archives. Well, not on YouTube, yeah.
He could face up to 20 years in prison. The 29-year-old pilot and skydiver has agreed to plead guilty to one felony count of destruction and concealment with the intention to obstruct a federal investigation. That's a really long title. Okay, the U.S. Justice Department said in a statement. Okay. In November of 2021, Mr. Jacob left a Santa Barbara, California airport on a solo flight with cameras mounted on his plane. Along with the cameras, Mr. Jacob took a parachute, as well as a selfie stick. Of course he did. He, quote, did not intend to reach his destination, but instead planned to eject from his aircraft during the flight and video himself parachuting to the ground and his airplane as it descended and crashed, end quote.
So he deliberately crashed his plane.
The plane crashed into the Los Padres National Forest 35 minutes after takeoff. He hiked to the site and recovered the footage. Some YouTube viewers were skeptical of the crash, noting that Mr. Jacob was already wearing a parachute and made no attempt to land the plane safely. He reported the crash to the National Transportation Safety Board, who said he was responsible for preserving the wreckage. According to the plea agreement, Mr. Jacob later claimed he did not know the location of the site, even though he tracked it on his GPS. But what do I know? Okay. He did and returned by helicopter and secured and removed the wreckage, which he later destroyed, the statement says. Mr. Jacob is expected to make his initial court appearance in the coming weeks. His pilot's... Oh, golly gee willikers. His pilot's license was revoked last year.
Why does that not surprise me? Or, as I like to say, colormesurprised.com.
Again!
Yeah.
And he's failed to respond to requests for comment.
Well,
Also,
speaking of failing...
A huge surprise.
Speaking of failing to... wow. Yeah.
Ruh-roh.
I don't even know what to say. I'm refusing to... What was the last thing you said?
The thing with
Yeah,
the
anyway.
stuff.
What thing? Okay, this is the story of the week.
Really? Of the week?
Yeah.
The whole week?
This is in our rectum damn near killed him department.
Oh!
And it's a very... It's good for this person that the article doesn't name the person this happened to.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah. I don't even know if I'll make it through this without just
Oh
falling
my
apart.
God, there's
Man,
diagrams.
Yes. I was going to say that. That's the funniest part is there's actual
Kill
diagrams
me,
of this. Okay.
there's
Anyway,
diagrams.
you're probably wondering what we're
No.
talking about. Here we go. A man. I got 2 words into it.
A man.
A man. You want to call him that, died with a ping pong ball in his bottom after being electrocuted while pleasuring himself.
Wait.
The single-
He died?
Yeah. The single 30-year-old from the Czech Republic who lived at home with his parents was found dead on the floor of his bedroom by firefighters who were forced to kick his door down.
Oh my
He was
God.
wearing a one-piece women's swimsuit.
Of course he was.
And had
From
tightly,
Target.
And it probably... Do they have Target in Czechoslovakia? I'm sorry, Czech Republic. I need to catch up with my life here. Okay, anyway. Found dead on
Called
the
the
door.
interwebs.
Right. Was found dead on the floor of his bedroom by...
Had tightly wrapped his leg, trunk, and
neck
neck
in straps
of
of fabric,
plastic
and
and
fabric. His concerned parents...
Why?
If I had that freak as a kid, I'd be concerned too. Sought help after he failed to open his locked door, despite them knocking for a long time. Doctors revealed in a report outlining the unusual circumstances of his death. Police found an electronic massage device laying next to the unidentified man's body, which was still connected to the mains, and they have a diagram. Freaking crazy.
Why is there a diagram?
Text.
Wait. I don't understand what they mean by connected to the mains. What does that mean?
It was still plugged in.
To what?
How would I know? This is a British article. I don't know the
all right,
mains. I don't know from the mains.
Because here in the good old US of A, electronic massage devices are plugged into like battery operated.
Okay, so I don't know what the mains means.
We don't have mains.
Well,
why is there a diagram?
I don't know. Tests showed the one-handed device, which had signs of wear, had malfunctioned while plugged in.
Oh, God.
Burns on the man's skin, inches above his penis, corresponded with the outer shape of the massage device's head.
So this thing was indeed plugged into, like, the wall.
Uh-huh. As such, His death was ruled to be down to accidental electrocution to autoerotic manipulation.
I want that on my headstone.
You really don't.
No, I don't.
An autopsy
I don't.
carried out 48 hours his death revealed a strange foreign body in his intestine, too.
Okay, I want that on my headstone.
Great.
No, I really
Publishing details about the man's case in the journal Legal Medicine, doctors from University Hospital Hradec Králové in the north of the Czech Republic said it was a fancy condom in a plastic translucent box onto which a label was fixed with the victim's first name marked with a black inscription.
What?
It measured around 5.5 centimeters. It's about 2 inches for you Yanks.
What?
Another object around 9 centimeters in length was lodged in his rectum.
Wait, okay.
That
I'm totally confused right now. Okay.
You should be.
So, what? Okay, fancy condom, plastic box, label. Where was this found? Intestine?
Yeah, intestine.
What?
And then
How hard do you have to shove something to get it into your intestine?
we're going to have to test that someday.
No, we are not. This is not something we... Here on Counterculture Ways, we are not going to be conducting scientific tests in which things are lodged so far up our rectum
I know what
that they end up in our intestines.
I'm going to finish this story and then I have something very important I have
I'm
to say
really
about this.
scared about the rest of this story.
Another object around 9 centimeters in length was lodged in his rectum. That, doctors said, was a round plastic cylinder onto which a ping pong ball fixed with a plastic wrap was placed.
This person is warped.
Now he's dead.
Was.
Exams also...
No, wait. There had to be someone who helped him with this. There's no way you could do that to yourself.
I don't know. It doesn't mention anybody else.
Internal organ congestion? What the hell is that?
We're going to find out. Internal exams also revealed he had suffered internal organ congestion, swelling in the lungs and the brain due to trapped fluid, while blood was found trapped in the heart chambers.
So this guy had so many things crammed up his beehole
He was being
that
really...
his brain swelled.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That sounds like the entire Biden administration.
People...
So many
it
things
had to turn
shoved up
political.
your
It just
beehole
had to go
that
political.
your brain swells.
This is what happens at 9 o'clock, at billion o'clock at night. Okay.
It's midnight.
Yes, this is
After
partly...
midnight, we're gonna let it all hang down.
Well, he sure did. Anyway, people most commonly shove objects into their rectum for sexual pleasure. This is partly to do with the number of nerves in the anus, making it highly sensitive, so it can also stimulate the prostate in men. For women, it can also directly stimulate parts of the vagina.
No, it doesn't.
But the insertion of objects into a rectum, also known as anal play, carries a number of risks, as well as getting stuck objects that can also potentially trigger bleeding in the gut and perforate the bowel, which can be deadly. Okay.
So stop it, you
all right.
crazy...
One more thing before we move on. At the end of this show, we have a disclaimer that you should never take medical advice or financial advice from podcasters, but I think we can make an exception here. Don't stick ping pongs up your rectum. Don't stick these things in your intestine.
Don't stick
anything
and don't do all of that. Butt.
And don't do.
It's a one-way street.
And don't play with an electric toy while you're doing these things.
Don't whiz on the electric fence.
Oh my God.
It's long.
No, I got to share. I'm sharing this just on my regular page.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Yeah. What's
the
Jimmy.
thing?
Yeah.
You're a hip guy. You're relevant. You're up to date. You're totally into the liberal hoo-ha there. How many things do you have up your butt?
That's usually a rhetorical question. Jim, what do you have up your butt? I don't have it. I don't have anything up my butt that Mother Nature didn't give me.
Okay, because, ladies and gentlemen, let me just be clear. That is a one-way street. It just is. And if you want to go the other direction, that is a violation of natural law. And you can call me any istaphobe you want. It is a violation of natural law. Get over it. It's a fact. It was always meant to be that way. It is that way. It will forever be that way. And no matter what you think your orientation or whatever is, whatever you stick up there ain't supposed to be there. Amen. God bless America. Next article.
Your turn.
God.
Because I can't, honestly, I don't think you'll be able to top that. You don't, you don't top that. You can't top that, but we have the article here, so rattle it off, girly.
All right, I'm just going to read the headline. New York City outlaws discrimination on the basis of height and weight. That's not going to go over well in, I don't know, California maybe?
Well, this happened in New York, not California.
Okay, all I'm saying is there's a lot of actors in New York. New York City Mayor Eric Adams, I can't say his name without trying to swear, signed legislation Friday that will ban discrimination based on body size by adding weight and height to the list of protected categories such as race, sex, and religion. Of course. We all deserve the same access to employment, housing, and public accommodation. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I do agree. I do.
Okay.
Okay. Regardless of our appearance, and it shouldn't matter how tall you are or how much you weigh. Adams, the Democrat who published a book about reversing his diabetes through a plant-based diet, which means he lied through his teeth, said the ordinance will help level the playing field for all New Yorkers, creating a more inclusive workplace and living environment, and protect against discrimination. Okay, so far, other than the plant-based nonsense, I'm on his side, okay? Fat people should not be denied employment. Ugly people should not be denied employment. It happens. It's a thing. But how do you prove it?
How do you prove somebody's ugly?
No. How do you prove that they didn't get the job because they're fat and ugly? How do you prove that?
You can just make allegations. That's all. I mean,
That's
unless you overheard them saying, "God, I'm not going to hire this fat fool." No, I mean,
because I'll be honest. I was hired for a job at my biggest, and my employer flat out told me to my face, with her mouth in my face, that she told everybody in the organization that she had hired me, without actually saying a big fat cow at the time, and they needed to get over it. Okay, so she tells me this on my first day. I just let everybody know what I did, and they need to get over it. How do you think that made me feel?
Othered.
Very much.
I've just been othered.
Yeah, I mean, to use a liberal term.
I mean, she probably meant well, but that's...
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, she was a beautiful, skinny, entitled, woman who spent her entire life with pretty privilege and looked at an not so attractive, heavy woman and thought, oh, I'm doing her a big service. She could have just said, I hired an extremely competent person with experience and intelligence.
That would have been the best way to do it.
But no, it was more about
virtue signaling even before that was popular.
Before that was a thing. Okay.
Okay.
The extent of the impact and cost of this legislation has not been fully considered. There shouldn't be any impact or cost. You hire people based on their ability to do the freaking job, people! Several other U.S. cities have banned discrimination based on weight and physical appearance. Okay. Literally, the single and only time that physical appearance should come into consideration is in acting. Period. End of discussion. Have a nice day. I need a 400-pound black actor to do this part. Period. I need a light-skinned, small-framed woman to play this part. Period. End of discussion. That is literally the only time that height, weight, skin color should ever come into play. Ever.
Well,
Otherwise,
unless it's a job that requires physical fitness.
okay, yeah. If
like
you
a
want,
fireman
if you, yeah,
or
okay.
cop.
I don't want some 400-pound. I don't give a crap about your skin color. I don't want some 400-pound idiot who can barely speak 3 words without, breathing heavy, to be a fire person.
Right.
Man, woman, otherwise.
Right.
I don't want some, 90-pound soaking wet, wispy woman to be a fire person, because they're not going to be able to get me out of my situation. Both ways. Okay.
Right.
Don't care about your skin color. Don't care about your religion. Don't care about what genitals you have. Don't care. Can you do the job? That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And to legislate that, to say, oh, well, they can't do the job, but you're not allowed to tell them they can't. That's dumb.
Yeah.
Okay? So, I mean, we joke about things. I mean, even going all the way back to my favorite movie of all time, where the run on the bank happened, and she's reading the classified ads, and it says, female wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's a Wonderful Life, if
Right.
any of you are unclear. Yeah, that's dumb. That shouldn't happen today, okay? Whether you're a teacher, a daycare teacher, or a fire person, or in the military, or whatever. That shouldn't matter. What should matter is, can you do the job? And if you can't, then don't apply. End of discussion.
Alrighty then.
Okay. Alrighty then.
Alrighty. So it is now time for I Know This to Be a Fact, Melanie's very, 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 very favoritist of favoritist parts of the show.
Here on Counterculture Wise, we may rant, we may rave, but most of all, we go against the current culture because we believe, to the core of our beings, that humans are good and the world is an amazing and beautiful place. At the beginning of our show, we give you news of the weird and wonderful, but that is just the tip of the magnificent iceberg that is our world. We now present news of the wonderfuller.
This is amazing. When Ron Nessman saw the baby's stroller rolling closer and closer from a parking lot close to speeding traffic on Hesperus Street, he took immediate action, NBC Los Angeles reported on Friday. The baby's great-aunt collapsed onto the pavement 2 times as she tried to go after the stroller. However, Nessman was there to save the day, and he was seen in video footage grabbing hold of the stroller and guiding it away from danger, the video footage of which you can see on counterculturewise.com.
Wow, far out. Yeah.
She was traumatized. She was crying. She was in shock. That's why I gave her a hug. Nessman said of the woman, adding, the wind was strong that day and blew the stroller onto the road. Nessman, who was at the car wash with his sister, was dressed up for a job interview at an Applebee's restaurant that took place before the incident. I hope he got the job. After being homeless for several years, God bless him, Nessman now lives with his sister. His situation just got even better because he recently learned he got a job Woohoo! And will start out as a dishwasher. Congratulations.
That's fantastic, sir. Congratulations.
Once news of his heroic. What did I say? Historic. Heroic.
Well, it was historic too, you know.
Yeah. Spread. He was offered 5 jobs. However, he does not have transportation. If it's something within his bus distance, yeah, I can get there, he explained. Meanwhile, Applebee's general manager Emily Kennedy said the clip of Nessman did not have anything to do with his hiring, calling him a great guy and a great candidate. That's actually really reassuring.
It is.
Nessman has struggled with depression after losing his beloved girlfriend, but he decided to make some changes. If you want something different in your life, you do something different, and that's where I am today. I thank my sister for helping me out. She's always been there for me, he said. That's what sisters are for. The only thing he wants to do now is to earn his own money. He cannot wait to start working. Congratulations.
All right.
Social media users praised his efforts and wished him well. One person writing, he is a true hero. Well, another said, God bless you, Ron. Good luck on your new job. And I also say the same.
All righty. Melanie likes to save the veteran stories for me to read.
I do.
She gets off on that.
I just like the kind of, verklemtiness that you get.
I will not.
Is that a
get
word, verklemtiness?
It is now.
Off you go.
Off I go. A World War II veteran with no surviving relatives.
Holy smokes, World War II?
Yeah, it gets better. With no surviving relatives, celebrated his 105th birthday with more than 3,000 cards from kind-hearted strangers.
Wow.
Ernest Horsfall, who has seen 27 prime ministers and 5 British monarchs in his lifetime, think about that, said he was surprised and amazed at how many people wrote to him. He was showered with cards from generous well-wishers after the Royal British Legion called for the brave ex-serviceman to be honored for his landmark birthday.
That's amazing.
After opening all his cards, he said he was looking forward... How long did that take? After opening all his cards, he said he was looking forward to spending time with his girlfriend, Margaret, 63, you cradle robber.
Cradle robber, you go, big boy!
Who
You
flew
flew
in
in from Iceland, so she's hot as hell, because Icelanders are smoking.
I'm utterly surprised and amazed at the number of greeting cards that came my way, he said from a
that's
seat in
so
his home in Preston.
sweet.
Ernest was born in Bradford, West Yorkshire in 1918, 3 weeks after the Royal Air Force was formed.
Holy crap.
He was married for 57 years and had a son and sister, but they have both now passed away.
How do you have a son and a sister? I'm
He
just saying
had
the way
a
that
sister.
Was,
I mean,
know,
but it's okay
he
to
had
have
a
a
son
sister.
and a sister. That's written so weirdly.
It might have been a son and daughter, but honestly, I have no idea. But they have both
he had
now
a son
passed
and
away.
a sister. Oh, Mumsy, can I have a sister now?
After you eat your biscuit.
Oh, goody, I get a sister. Now I have a son and a sister.
Oh boy. Ernest served in London during the Blitz before joining the Allied campaign in North Africa, then went to Italy to maintain Allied tanks, directing 23 Italian civilian mechanics. Ernest says he still has vivid memories of serving with the Army Ordnance Corps in London in 1940 and feels lucky to have survived the terrible conflict.
Wow.
There would be swarms of Nazi bombers flying overhead all night, and I knew many people that were injured or worse. He said, on one occasion, our guard room was hit and 6 of my pals were killed. I was just lucky it wasn't my duty that night. Wow. Following his time as a sergeant in the British Army's Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers between 1940 and 1946, he decided to take flying lessons at age 43 and was a private pilot for the next 50 years.
Good for him.
Wow, this is a life. I'd like to read, publish a book about his life. I'd buy that
seriously,
sucker in a minute.
Heartbeat.
Ernest, who has met several prime ministers since leaving the armed forces, received a card from current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak congratulating him on reaching his 105th birthday. Rachel Venables, Membership Engagement Manager for the Royal British Legion, which launched the card appeal, said the sacrifices of servicemen like Ernest would never be forgotten.
Good.
The Second World War generation is inevitably diminishing, but occasions like this are an opportunity for the RBL to remind everyone that their service and sacrifice mean something and will never be forgotten, she said. While they may be diminishing, this 105-year-old has some great advice to share with those who have many years left on the earth. The secret to a long life is to keep living as happy as you can and keep a straight mind, he said.
You need to listen, millennials. You need to listen.
I could learn a thing or two. Anyway, and I'm not a millennial.
No, but we're in that. Look at his face, though. He just looks so
looks,
sweet
he's radiating
and happy
happiness.
and content.
Yeah.
And he has seen, I mean, they talk about being triggered now. And that's like, oh, I got called a name.
Your
and
buddies got bombed out of a shelter
no, this
and are no
man
longer walking
saw
around. That's
true-
triggered.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I'm offended by those who use the word triggered, who haven't actually been in this kind of situation. This man knows what it means, and yet he chooses to live a life of gratitude and happiness, and that's the way it's done. What a beautiful face. I love his face. I just want to take his face and just go and kiss him.
Just like Marnie did with me in the thing.
Oh, look at the face.
Look at
the face.
look at that face. Look at that face.
I love this face.
It's one of my favorite memories of acting in Vegas. I'm telling you, that was so funny. We'll have to tell you the story sometime if we haven't already.
I think we have, but yeah, I love the
One
face.
last thing. Due to the generosity of my wife and winning a prize at work of $100,
It wasn't even
I got.
generosity. This was you being good at what you do.
Yeah. I was able to finally get that bass guitar I wanted, and
Which has been on his dream board for almost a
it's
year.
off it now because it's no longer a dream. It is not literally in my hands, but it's this
At this precise moment, but
Yeah.
it is literally in
But
your
I
hands.
jammed with Melanie, and we're going to be doing a lot of that. I'm going to be taking
Scared
some.
the dogs half to death. They bark at
Yeah,
us.
I'm going to be taking lessons eventually. We got a couple other things we got to take care of first, but I'm anxious to get started on this journey and actually become a good bassist.
His bass is purty.
It is nice. It is a Gretsch Junior Jet, which is a small scale bass because the baseball bats that usually come with fenders and the like make me nervous. This is
Baseball bats?
You know, a lot of bassists call the necks of Fender P basses and jazz basses baseball bats because they're so long. That's kind of the industry standard, but I wanted something a little easier to play. I'm old and I don't want my fingers to have to spread apart that
I'm
far.
old and my fingers are not spready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't stick ping pong balls at my rectum either.
Well, that.
It's just for that, and you know, it just.
I don't think sticking ping pong balls up there would help with your bass abilities, but
Might help me with my singing ability. I hit
No.
soprano.
only if you wanted to sing soprano, and even then, not so much.
But I wanted to publicly thank Melanie for her gift cards that she'd been getting me over time.
Over the past couple of years, once he knew what he wanted, every time we had a couple of extra bucks, I put that into gift cards because I really wanted to see him get what he wanted, and it just makes me happy to see him happy. So little by little, I knew we would get there. I knew we would get.
Well, it's just fun.
I didn't want just any bass guitar. I wanted the one he wanted. So I
and
completely...
it took a long time to settle on one.
I completely
I was looking
left
at
that
basses ranging anywhere from $200 to about $1,200. I mean, you can buy one for $10,000 if you like, but I don't want to spend that kind of money on something if I don't know if I'm going to do.
And I
anything with it,
completely left that open. I'm like, I'm just going to keep giving you gift cards until you are ready and you get what you want.
And then I won a contest at work, so I got another $100 in points, and they offered a Guitar Center card in that
Not a
system.
sponsor,
so.
but we take them in a heartbeat.
No, I really wouldn't, actually.
You wouldn't take them as a sponsor?
No.
Okay. Not a sponsor, and we wouldn't take them.
It's a long story, which I won't get into now. Just say that I'm...
But you
I'm-
still bought your base there.
Well, because that's where I had the gift cards. And I appreciate them. Okay, they can be a sponsor. Okay, that's fine. Because when I went and bought it, they were wonderful.
The customer service there has always been good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, there's other places that I just adore and I love to shop at, like H-E-B.
Mm-hmm.
And the owners are total nonsense. And I'm very disappointed in them.
Yeah.
And they need to change their ways.
I'm going to be writing them. There's not enough competition in this region of Texas where we live to go somewhere else, really, because there's no store like H-E-B. I
freaking love H-E-B, and I'm really disappointed in them
Yeah.
for being total sellouts.
Yeah. Well, I just for now I'm still going
And
to
I
shop
bet,
there, but
like, 99.9% of the employees disagree with the a-hole who owns the company, who's doing the absolute BS that he's doing. Notice how I'm trying not to swear.
I know. There is a competing grocery store right up the street from us, but that would automatically trigger.
But
Sorry,
like
the word.
7-Eleven. It's like everything there costs 3 times as
Well,
much.
I was going to say that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, it would raise our food budget about 50%, so that's out.
And it would also decrease the quality by about 97%
Yeah.
every time I've shopped there.
Well, if you get canned goods or whatever, they're fine.
Here's the thing, folks. Shop local. Know who you're buying from. We're buying beef from the cattle farmers who own the property we rent from. We go to the local farmers market to get our vegetables.
And boy, I just
What
had
a
the best
difference.
tomato this week I've ever had.
I'm telling you, what a difference.
Yeah. We got some delicious turnips for, because I'm kind of low carb lately, so instead of crackers with my cheese, no Triscuits right now. I'm eating them on sliced turnips.
And oh my god, this is so hard because I freaking love Triscuits.
Oh, I know. Triscuits are the best.
The bomb.
No, Nabisco is not a sponsor, and
Not a sponsor.
I don't think I'd take
Yeah.
them anyway. They're
But here's the thing.
big.
You can replace those carbs with things that are actually good for you. And I make stew with radishes instead of potatoes, and he doesn't know the difference.
It's not really. I mean, there's slight textural difference, but they're good. They're delicious.
You boil it long enough.
Yeah.
Add
You can
some
even
butter.
you can even boil them and then mash them like potatoes, and they taste amazing.
That and cauliflower.
Yeah.
And I make shepherd's pie with cauliflower. I do all of these things. And if you source locally, you can get the most beautiful and amazing vegetables. They're not going to be perfect like you see in the store, but if you think about that, what you see in the store...
If they're that uniform, they're
if
mangling
they're-
the
exactly.
genetics.
If they're uniform and all the colors are exactly right, it's just like Hollywood.
Yeah.
These people do not exist in real life. You see what they look like in real life. It's nothing like what you see on the screen. It's the same thing with the vegetables. Eat real vegetables. Date real people. Love real human beings. Be kind. Be generous. And gosh, what else is there to say? Love people for who they are, not what they think they are or what they are. Just love people.
And with that note, I do believe it is time to conclude another amazing, astounding, awesome, epic, and not too bad chapter of Counterculture Wise.
We love you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Counterculture-Wise is a Stormcat production.
Thank you for joining our growing family of listeners. All links from the show are available on our website, counterculturewise.com. Find our archives on any of your favorite podcast hosts.
We engage in satire, commentary, and generally laugh at the ridiculousness of our crumbling society. Our only medical or financial advice is to not follow any financial or medical advice given by podcasters.
Our animations, interviews, Holy Crap segment, and other videos are put out on BitChute and Rumble, and only in part on YouTube because they hate free speech.
Our show is entirely funded by listeners like you. Visit our ever-expanding merch store or our Subscribe Star, where you can get outtakes, extra videos, and sneak peeks.
If you would like to be a guest on our program, feel free to contact us via our website. Just click on the link at the top that says, Be a Guest on Our Show.
For more fun and cat pics, please visit our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. For complaints about our show, please fill out the ID10T form on our website, and we will give it the attention it deserves.
Meanwhile, no matter how cruel the world may be around you, always remember the importance of kindness. Be kind to each other, be kind to animals, and be kind to yourself. See you next week.